Okay, so Joe Budden was on Maino's podcast a couple of days ago, and the subject came up about Joe Budden and his relationship with his former members of the Joe Budden podcast, Rory and Mal. And basically, Maino, and I forgot the other two ladies' names, was asking Joe Budden questions on will they ever speak again? How's the relationship? Uh, if you could go back, could you done things differently? And Joe Budden is pretty much saying the same old stuff that he was saying in previous, on his own podcast, as well as other articles and things of that nature. Basically saying he handled it the wrong way. If he could do it all over again, he would do things differently. And the primary issue that Rory and Mal has with Joe Budden is now all of a sudden Joe Budden is blaming the accountants, and it has nothing to do with money. Before I get into my opinion on all this, I'm gonna say the same thing to Joe Budden, like I said about Rory and Mal. I feel like there should be a point of time where you guys, okay, it's done. There's no need to just keep on talking about this. Okay, Joe, you found yourself two new co-hosts, Ice and Ish, and they're holding it down. They're doing very well. And Rory and Mal, you guys are pairing up, and you're pairing up with Kevin Durant, a media group, 35 and Venture. And I feel like, if anything, you guys should be talking more about your future instead of your past. Talking about this isn't going to get you guys to get back together again, because what was said has been said. Okay. And I just feel like I said the same thing about Rory and Mal. I feel like you guys should. I felt like those two guys should have just moved on and start focusing more on their future. And Joe, likewise, I think you should move on and worry about your future. Okay, because what's done is done. There's nothing you can do about it. Okay. Secondly, I've heard Rory and Mal illustrate this as well as Joe Budden. Joe Budden said on Maino podcast that he feels that Rory and Mal feels that they haven't been taken advantage by Joe Budden, and he wasn't robbing them blind, and it has nothing to do with the money, but it had everything to do with the money. Well, at the end of the day, I still say this: all three of them handled it the wrong way. And ever since that Spotify deal, ever since Joe decided not to renegotiate with Spotify or accept Spotify's offer, Joe feels like he's worth more. Well, the only way you can find out if you're worth more or not, if you have another deal. And there was no other deal. Joe Budden was bidding with himself. All right. He was playing himself, basically telling Spotify, look, no, we deserve this, fam, because we've done this many numbers and we deserve more money. And it's hard to say that what you deserve when there's no other offers. All right. It had everything to do with the money. Okay. Joe wanted to blame the accountants, and Rory and Mal wants to blame the accounting company. But you know what? The accounting company, they're not in front of a mic. No one's really asking for their side of the story or their side of the truth. They don't care. All they're doing is punching numbers and, cutting checks. That's pretty much it. All right. They don't care about the back and forth stuff. Okay. Because they're doing grown up stuff. All right. I don't understand why Rory and Mal and now Joe Budden is trying to throw out into the atmosphere, into social media, saying, well, there was beef, but it had nothing to do with the money, when it's always about the money. It has been about the money. All right. And Joe said it again, that he paid those guys very well. I have said that in numerous videos, all right, where a number of people came up and said that he paid everybody too well. He had too many people in the kitchen, okay? And there was one point he had 20 plus employees just doing the podcast. And again, I'm going to say the same thing, and I've always been saying this. Joe Budden can create. He's a great creator, okay? Mainly of madness and chaos, okay? But he gets the views, he gets the attention. But what Joe is terrible at is business. Joe is terrible at business. Let me get into the bankruptcy thing. A lot of people hit me up on the comment section and on social media talking about, oh, the bankruptcy thing. He said that, but it was all in jokes. Ha ha, kiki. And when I made that video, I was mainly focusing on Joe Budden's business decisions because he's terrible at business. He does not have a mind or a flair for business. And that's not to hate on him. That's not to say he's just terrible at everything. Look, people, we're great at a lot of things, but let's just be real and be frank. We're terrible at a lot of things as well, too. And Joe Budden is a human being like the rest of us, okay? So the fact of the matter is you keep hearing a lot of things about how Joe handles his business, and he handles his business terribly, okay? And that's the whole focus of why I made that video. I don't care if he filed for bankruptcy. And I said, if it happens, if he do file for bankruptcy, that don't necessarily mean that he's broke. Okay. When people file for bankruptcy, they file for different reasons and for different things to protect their assets and things of that nature. Okay. I'm well aware of that. But, my video was really focusing on Joe Budden is terrible at business. I don't care if he said it jokingly, because I'm going to tell you something. When people say things jokingly, believe it or not, they've been thinking about it, okay? They've been thinking about it. They have been discussing it with themselves, and I'm pretty sure, the people that are behind Joe Budden has probably threw that out as well, particularly with the mishandling of Rory and Mal, all right, to protect his assets, so to say, okay? So, and I'm pretty sure it's not over with Rory and Mal. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a day when they're all going to have to go to court, and they're all going to have to prove, without a shadow of a doubt, who's supposed to get what, who was controlling what, who's the partner, who's the profit partner, and we're not going to find the truth of none of this stuff until their day in court, which I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. But Joe Budden, I feel like, look, Joe Budden should just move on, okay, and just let this be, because I don't see any good coming out of still talking about this. In some ways, Rory, Mal, and Joe Budden, I feel like one of the reasons why they keep bringing this up is to let their fans know that it wasn't their fault. It's not my fault. There's a lot of people pointing at other people, but nobody's taking the responsibility. But I feel like Joe Budden should take the majority of the responsibility. And guess what, Rory and Mal? You deserve some blame as well. So I just feel like I don't understand why these guys are still talking about it, okay? You guys talk about your new futures and your new frontiers, but you guys still talk about what you had and what could have happened and this, that, and the third. I mean, it's all, at the end of the day, it's your business. Y'all can do whatever y'all want to. Y'all can talk about whatever you want to talk about it. But to me, it's just, you sound like an ex-girlfriend that still talks about the guy that dumped her, or she dumped him. And now she's still talking about him 3 or 4 years, after the fact that they no longer are involved. Okay, why are you still? It's time to just move on. To me, it sounds like what you have, you either don't appreciate it, or what you have question marks and concerns about it, and you feel like the grass was greener where you were. Okay, that's where it's coming. That's how I get it when Rory and Mal and Joe Budden talks about it. But yo, that's all I gotta say on this, guys. Tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. I see you guys later. Deuces.